Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's Monday morning, it's overcast, it's been pouring all night, so it may be a wet old day here on Monday, but it's okay, we'll take it as it is. I'll just do a 360 just to show you where I am. And for those who have guessed it, you are right. I'm up here at Observatory Hill at the Rocks, heading towards work. And I thought I'd take this route today so I can deliver yet another vlog on Jim's 5am Club. These buildings here with the green roofs are the various observatories, as you can see, and hence where we get the name of Observatory Hill. And we've got the Crown Casino over there, and I can see a ship, another cruise ship coming in to dock up. And as you know, it's a busy time of year, given that we had a couple of years of COVID, which slowed things down, but hopefully things will be getting back to normal. I have noticed during my lunchtime walkarounds that it appears most certainly that Sydney has got its mojo back, with people everywhere in the city. And I was speaking to my friend John DeBassis last night, who reassured me that come the weekend, places like Barangaroo are just wall-to-wall people, and you can't even get into a restaurant unless you've booked well in advance. So that's good news. Just goes to show that the tough times don't last forever. The tough times come into our lives to test us, to test our resolve, to weed out the weaklings, the ones that can't handle the pressure. And it gives us an opportunity to reassess our lives, to build on our strengths, assess our weaknesses and work on our weaknesses. So what I'll do is I'll just go up here into the rotunda and continue this vlog. I've got another interesting book summary to go through today. It's amazing how there are so many books available on the internet, book summaries that other people have read and summarized, and it makes life a lot more interesting, not having to read the whole book, but to read a summary where you can pick out, or somebody else has already picked out, the interesting points, and we can focus on those rather than just reading everything to pick out a few morsels. So today's book summary is entitled, I know it's from an author known as Les Brown. The book summary is entitled Live Your Dreams. And once again, it's a book summary which talks about the importance of each and every person doing what they can with what they've got to try and achieve the best outcome in their life. We're all allotted a lifetime, and we don't know how long that lifetime is. For some people it's 100 years, for others it's 70, for others it's much less. But the beauty is that you have your own lifetime to live your dreams, to experience God's creation in all its glory, and to glorify God along the way, and to work with God as a partner to serve both Him and everybody else and our neighbours. So this book here goes through and basically talks about the challenge that we face, the duties that we have, the responsibility that we have. And the author says that our parents bring us into the world, but we are ultimately responsible for what we become, who we become, and what you become is much more than what you achieve. This is a powerful, profound concept, because a lot of people focus on their achievements, what they acquire, what they pick up along the way in terms of trinkets. But this author and many great authors remind us that it's who you become is more important than the things you achieve, because we all have different skills. We are all awarded different gifts. Charismata, as it's known in Greek. And it's up to each and every one of those to hone those, to work those gifts in order to generate the outcomes, as we said before, that serve God and serve our neighbours. We don't become wealthy, we don't become educated, we don't become lucky just to indulge our own selfish needs. The purpose of having these things come our way, these fortunes, is for us to use those to help others rather than to help ourselves. By all means, there is a time in our lives where we need to invest in ourselves, because unless you become the best version of yourself, then you can't have your cup overrun it to be able to help and support others around you. So there are times where we need to be selfish to achieve our goals of self-development and growth. But once we achieve that self-development and growth and get to a position where we can influence and contribute, then our duty and responsibility is to contribute and to offer others rather than to use it for our own selfish gains, as we mentioned before. The author goes on to say that life happens in lag time. There are things and plans that God has for each and every one of us that He knows that we may not know, we may not see. But the author here encourages us to learn to walk by faith and not by sight alone. Let me just say that again. We need to learn to walk by faith, knowing that we're going to figure it out along the way, rather than by sight, being able to see it and to believe in it, but to do things before they become reality, by doing it with faith. And faith and belief are two entirely different things. Faith is more powerful, much bigger than belief. So we need to try and live faithfully, and to know that it's what we do every day, what we do every moment, the thoughts that we harbour, the thoughts that we nurture, that are going to deliver the opportunities and the results that we desire. So I remember reading once something which was really profound, and it's actually changed my life in a big way, where John Wooden, and a basketball coach from the States, a famous basketball coach, would say to his players that you're not judged by society. Society won't judge you based on what you achieve, but society will judge you on what you should have achieved, given the opportunities, given the network, given the skills, given the path in life that you had. That is what people are going to look at in order to judge whether or not you have been a success or a failure. As we said before, we become educated, we become wealthy, we become connected to networks and other people. We have opportunities present themselves in order for us to leverage that and to make the most of it. And if you waste those opportunities and don't embrace them with your 10 fingers, 2 hands, and 2 arms to hug them close to your body, then you've let yourself down. You've left yourself down, you've left your family down, you've left your neighbour down, and in some ways you can even think that you've let God down as well. Because we all live a different life. We're all going to live and experience and have a different past. We're all going to have a different now, a different present. I am here, you are somewhere else, and even if you were here, right here and now with me, in the same place, you're still going to experience a different perspective than what I am experiencing right now, depending on what you're looking at and what your worldview is based on your previous life experiences. And we're almost certainly going to have a different future. So we need to understand that. But the author here in this book reminds us that life is always going to provide you with answers, and you will figure it out if you apply yourself, because each and every one of us have our own fate. This is really powerful. Each person has their own fate. So let's just elaborate on that. So what we're saying is that just because your parents, your grandparents, uncles and aunts, school friends, work peers weren't able to achieve something, doesn't mean that you are not going to be able to achieve it. Because as we said, each person has their own fate, and God has his own plan for each and every person, based, of course, on their actions, their work ethic, and what they try and do, how they apply those skills and gifts and charismata that he's blessed them with. The analogy that I always love using is when I was a kid, I remember going up to the entrance, and when I got to the entrance, at that little waterway there, that little outlet where the estuary joins the ocean, you can often see hundreds of people fishing, and they're all using similar sort of fishing lines, fishing rods, fishing rigs and bait. But some will catch fish, others won't catch fish, some will catch big ones, others will catch little ones. But each person, each of those fishing people will experience a different outcome, even though they're putting in the same effort, they're at the same place at the same time. And that, to me, suggests and clarifies and proves that each person have their own fate, and of course luck plays a part of it, but you've got to be in it to win it. You can't expect to achieve greatness by staying in bed, staying at home and not getting involved. Nobody's going to come and tap you on the shoulder for that promotion at work. You know, you're going to have to put your hand up, you're going to have to do the training, you're going to have to get noticed. And the only way we get noticed is when we do more than what is expected, more than what we expect of ourselves, and more than what our peers, our customers, our bosses expect of us as well. So something to think about and to mull over. And as we said before, each person has their own fate, and that fate needs to be tested, needs to be uncovered. You know, you can't expect life just to give you all that you want without you working for it. The author then goes on to say that we need competing goals and desires and things that drive us. We need things in our lives that get us up early every day and keep us up late at night. Problems are a gift. The more problems we have, or the more problems that we solve, the greater successes we are potentially going to have in our lives. Now, thank your life for the problems that you face, because each problem that you solve teaches you something. It gives you an opportunity to create a mind map, to understand a pattern, to see a pattern. And that allows us to recognize future similar patterns and act accordingly to try and solve whatever issue it is, and to shortcut the process, the learning process. The author encourages us and calls us to action, to release the handbrake in life, not to drive with your foot on the brakes, but to drive with the foot on the accelerator, and of course tap the brake every now and then as required for safety reasons, but not to be overly reliant on the foot brake in your car, and to understand the basic principles that massive action leads to massive outcomes. It may not lead to success, but massive actions, listen to this, massive action leads to massive results. And if those results are not what you expect or not what you're looking for, then you need to take massive action in a different direction to achieve things a little better. So we need to be flexible in our approach, is where we're going with this. Hard-nosed with our goals, with our dreams, with our desires, but flexible in terms of how we get there. And we must embrace discomfort. The road to success, the road to achievement, needs to be walked, and there are potholes there, there are hills, there are valleys, mountains, you name it. It's not a straight path, it's not an easy path, but just like Scott Peck in the book The Road Less Travelled says, he says that you need to embrace pain and suffering and discomfort and take the long way, take the tough road, because it's that tough road that'll give you the best views, the best experiences, and the greatest fulfillment. Because as we said, suffering, pain, problems are the currency that we need to bank. It's the currency we need to transact with in order to achieve the wonderful dreams that we are looking to achieve in our lives. It's the currency that provides us with the growth and development that we need in order to become a better person, a better version of ourselves. Just like Ulysses, Odysseus, just like Hercules, Heracles, just like Jason, Yasonas, just like Jesus, just like Moses. Where would those people be if it wasn't for the pain, the problems, and the challenges that they faced, which made them legendary, made them, turned them into role models for the rest of us to follow and to try and help achieve what we're trying to achieve. So the author then tells us, encourages us to go to war on fear and insecurity, because there are 4 different stages of growth where we need to increase our awareness of self-knowledge, self-approval, self-commitment, and self-fulfillment. And all of our limitations, or should I say most of our limitations, are self-imposed. We need to live large, go big, be consistent, and keep moving, as my friend Johnny D always says. Don't slow down, otherwise you become a target. And we need to fight for what we want, because nobody is going to tap us on the shoulder, as we mentioned before. If we have a vision, we need to hold on to it. And there are 2 types of people in our lives, and at the end of the day, we're only going to be the average of the half dozen people who we spend most of our time with. But the 2 types of people that the author talks about are those that nourish us, those that build us, those that help us grow and develop, and those who drain us, those who make us feel empty, those who make us feel less than what we are. So we've got to be careful that we don't let others' lack of vision restrict our vision and restrict our future. Even if you're given an instrument with 1 string, we need to play our 1 string instrument, and that 1 string is our attitude. We need to play with attitude. So the lesson to be offered here from this author for each and every one of us, regardless of what age you are, is to have a crack. And you will never know until you try. Because as we said, we've all got different pasts, presents, and futures. What is your past? What is your future? What is your present? And to understand that we can't change our past. We can change our interpretation of the past, but we can't change the past. But you can change your present, which can influence your future. So you can't change where you came from, but you can change where you end up, is the big lesson. So it's up to each and every one of us to embrace life and to know that each person is unique. No 2 people have experienced the same life. Even if you're identical twins, even if you're cellmates in the same prison, you're going to experience a different life. Even if you're sick in hospital, there are people who are going to see things differently and experience things differently even if they're big challenges, is the point that the author is making. So you need to work on your thoughts, your attitude, and all of those things that you're being gifted in life to try and maximize the outcomes of your life so that we can live and be the best versions of who we are. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm just heading to work Monday morning. I can see the puddles down there. Looks like it's been raining and pouring all night. My wife did wake up during the night to say that things were very, very wet and windy and wily. But we'll see how we go today. Could be lucky, could be a short day, or it could clear up and be a long, purposeful day. But we'll take it as it comes. Anyway, take care everybody. Yassas. And bye for now. Cheers.